This is Sony's first super telephoto zoom lens that extends to a whopping 800 millimeters, introducing the 400 to 800 millimeter f6.3 to f8 G-series OSS lens. I had the opportunity to spend several weeks with this lens, and even though I'm primarily a portrait photographer, I had some interesting takeaways that I'll be sharing in this video. Before we get into that, let's go over the specs. The 400 to 800 millimeter G-series lens is a full-frame lens that features 27 elements in 19 groups that are designed to reduce chromatic aberration and maintain the highest image quality and sharpness possible. There's also 6 extra low dispersion elements that help in those efforts, along with an 11-blade circular aperture to give you that beautiful bokeh that will make your images stand apart. With this being a top choice for wildlife and bird photographers, the autofocus features need to also be top-notch. To achieve that, this lens has 2 linear motors that give you fast, quiet, and accurate autofocus for both stills and video use. This autofocus system is near silent, and it can help you to track subjects up to 120 frames per second when you're burst shooting. It weighs in at 4.66 pounds or 2,475 grams, and something that I thought was impressive is that the zoom and the focus on this lens is completely internal. As you zoom in and out from 400 to 800 millimeters, the lens doesn't get bigger or smaller, which really helps with how this lens handles. As you're doing that, the center of gravity doesn't actually shift back and forth either. It always stays close to the middle of the lens, which helps to make this lens a lot easier to hold for long periods of time. Seeing as this will be a lens that will spend a lot of time outdoors, it's dust and moisture resistant, and the large front element has a fluorine coating which helps to protect it from dust, smudging, and moisture. That front element, by the way, has a 105 millimeter filter thread in case you want to pair this lens up with an ND filter or a circular polarizer. Hand-holding this lens at these focal lengths is made easier thanks to the inclusion of optical steady shot, and that feature is extra helpful considering that you could extend the focal length to a absolutely staggering 1600 millimeters using the 2x teleconverter. I took some shots using the 1.4x teleconverter, and I'll have some more images to show you shortly, but before we do that, let's get back to the lens. On the outside, you'll find a variety of useful controls, including an AF/MF, full-time DMF, focus limiter, OSS, and mode toggle switches. There's also 3 focus hold buttons that can be customized to give you quick access to whatever controls you need the most. Adjustments to your zoom and your focus can be done using the rings on the outside of the lens, both of which are smooth and easy to adjust. The 400 to 800 millimeter G-series lens has a minimum focusing distance of 1.7 meters at 400 millimeters, and a max magnification of 0.23x. Since this lens has a variable aperture, as you're zooming from 400 to around 480 millimeters, you'll have a max aperture of f6.3. Then from there to around 599 millimeters, you could get up to f7.1. And from 600 to 800 millimeters, the max aperture is f8. I took this lens out over the course of several weeks to photograph birds at a local wetlands area just outside of Orlando. Here's some of the photos that I took with it, some of which I took with the Sony 1.4x teleconverter. Throughout all of the times that I used the lens with cameras like the Alpha 1 Mark II and the Alpha 9, I was impressed by a few things. First was the bokeh that was possible at these longer focal lengths. Even at f6.3 to f8, you could get some beautiful subject separation and bokeh. For those situations where I needed the faster shutter speed to photograph or anticipate fast-moving birds, I simply increased the ISO, and even at 12,800 ISO, I'm able to get that fast shutter speed and an image that cleans up easily in post-production. This lens was a lot of fun to use, and I'm excited to hear about your experiences with it when it's available around the middle of March. Pricing is $2,899.99. And you can learn more about it by clicking the link in the description of this video. Be sure to subscribe to Alpha Universe to stay up to date on everything that's happening. And before you head out, check out the video that you see here on the screen, and I'll see you there.